You're good.
All right, we are live for the class, actually every class, 40th annual IHSAA girls basketball tournament preview show, and Craig Atkins alongside Perry Williams, and our special guest tonight is, this afternoon rather, is 2015 sectional champion coach of Noblesville High School, Donna Buckley now. Mm-hmm. Has been that way for what, 6 months?
6 months.
And we'll get to Class 4A Sectional 8 where her team will participate. We'll also have 3A Sectional 24 at Hamilton Heights, which serves up to be a pretty good one also. Sectional 40 at Frankton, which Sheridan will play in Class 2A, and then Sectional 58 at University in Class 1A. Rounding out all, we'll get to talk about all 8 county teams, and most of those residing in Class 4A Sectional 8. So, Perry?
You know, it's kind of interesting, looking at this sheet here on the sectional brackets, that we have 3 sectionals in Hamilton County.
Yeah.
With University, Hamilton Heights, and Westfield. It'll be pretty nice to have 3 sectionals here, and shows you the kind of facilities and kind of programs that we have in Hamilton County that can run tournaments like this, and it's great to see that. Let's talk a little bit, Coach. Last night you played Pendleton Heights, which is always tough to play at Pendleton Heights, and they're always a scrappy bunch. And
they showed last night.
Yeah. You want to talk a little bit about last night's game and some of the girls that stepped up?
Yeah, it was a good game. Pendleton's very talented. Over the years, I think it's one of those schools that definitely has a winning record against us. And anytime you can go over there and get a win, it's huge. And going back to my Greenfield days, like I said, didn't have a lot of success against them over the years. They were really good. In fact, one of their assistant coaches, Sue Lester, I don't know if you guys remember Sue, but she went to Butler and played. And like I said, they're trying to kind of get them back to where they were when she played, and man, they can shoot it. They can just flat out shoot. At the end of the game, they only hit 9, but it felt like so much more than 9 threes. But it was a good game and a nice test for us. We didn't play real well in the first half, and to have, I think, a 1-point lead at the half and to be able to regroup and come out, and really, I think it was a 1 or 2 point game going into the fourth. So it was good for us to be challenged and come out and have Caitlin O'Reilly and Alexis Shannon and Emily Kaiser really step up. I think 24 maybe for Caitlin and 21 for Alexis, and 12 or 14 for Emily. So it was a big night for those guys, and they stepped up and made some really big plays for us on both ends.
You know, the one good thing, too, and I think Craig and I talked about it during the game, is the rebounding. We're doing a really good job on the boards there, and it seems like I was kidding Craig during the ball game. I said it looks like we're padding our rebounds too, because we were missing some pretty easy shots in there, Coach, but we were getting the rebounds to put it back up. But KO and Emily are doing a great job in there, and rebounding, and you got some. It's kind of interesting now to see when you bring those young freshmen in the ball game too, some of the things that they can do now, and they're not afraid to, at the beginning of the season, watching them and they're kind of standoffish, and they think, oh, I can't take a shot, but now they're stepping up taking that shot.
They don't think twice about that.
Yeah.
They don't. Trust me.
Whether they want them to or not.
There you go. The banking 3 against Heritage Christian was a big shot from Maddie Knight. And, those freshmen are starting to step up and really play well. And they've had some big minutes for us down the stretch, which is good to be able to trust them going into next week.
You know, Craig and I spent quite a bit of our time on social media this week watching the 1987 Noblesville team win the state. It was really kind of interesting to watch those players play with Courtney Cole and some of those players, and also with Chrissy Davis. But the one thing about it, they were great players, but the physical size of the Millers of today, you can tell much different in how players are built today, as far as that weight room that your players spent a lot of time in. Back in the day, it was kind of no for a basketball player to work out much.
It still is that way for some. I talked to Rick Reisinger from Heritage Christian, and he doesn't let his kids lift. And, it's the same thing. Kokomo's kids don't lift. So it's a definite advantage for us. I think a lot of people complain, a lot of coaches complain that we're too physical. But, it's just part of who our kids are. They're good athletes. They're strong. And, kids bounce off of them because they're definitely not trained and built like our kids are. But I will say this about the 87 group. They came back a few years ago for they're impressive. They did not look like the women who played back then. They were they still look impressive, and they were awesome. And that was really cool of you to tweet that out and to be able to watch that. And like I said, that's why I'm here today. I remember watching them and wanting to be part of something so special. And Noblesville basketball was just amazing back then.
Well, I thought that when you and I had the show a couple of weeks ago, and you were talking about that, even that 87 team even kind of inspired you that when you got into coaching, that if you ever got the opportunity to come to Noblesville and coach, that's something you wanted to do.
Oh, absolutely. I left Greenfield, and we were in great shape. My JV had won 44 in a row when I left there. We weren't bad. Like I said, it wasn't like we had a lot of kids coming back. Yeah, we had a lot going for us, and but I just always wanted to be here, and it was such a big deal to me when this job opened, and feeling like I had a chance to maybe get the job, so I applied, and everything worked out. But that group, that 87 group, really, like I said, I was 12 back then, and it inspired me to a point, like literally, I know you guys probably make fun of me, but like Courtney Cole followed me on Twitter, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, do I follow her back right now, or do I wait? It was just it was so cool for me because watching her, it was the first time I just remember watching and thinking, I can't believe a female is that good.
Yeah.
And, it's really cool. And same with Chrissy. That was just an amazing group of girls. And I think our kids today now have that same effect on our young kids. You see them watching these kids and the things that, our girls can do athletically, hopefully can inspire these kids.
Well, and the one amazing thing that I've really noticed, and of course, my wife being a lifelong Noblesville Miller fan and going through those early days in the 80s with the Miller girls and everything, and when girls basketball really took off, and we've had many conversation about when Alexa and those seniors and KO and Emily, when they come out of the locker room, they're like rock stars to these little kids. They line up, and it's so cool to see them signing autographs and things like that. And Kathy always reminds me, said that's exactly how it was back in 87, 88, and 89. That the kids would just line up. And
I got stopped on the way to the locker room against Martinsville at halftime. They were like, "Can I get a picture with the seniors?" And I said, "Sure," but after the game.
Yeah.
So they do, and I came out and there's all these little kids and they were ready, and this little girl with her grandma ready to get her picture with those kids, and they love it. Those kids, I think, understand and appreciate the role that they're in and really take pride in that, and do a good job of taking time to spend time with those kids and to inspire them.
Yeah, it's really great, and you can look at. Of course, we're not 44-0 in JV, but when you look at our JV and our freshmen and our 8th grade classes, and you have 2 8th grade classes feeding into you, so you're seeing 25 girls at the end of the year that are coming in that you get to choose from instead of 8 to 10. It makes a huge difference because their bodies can change very rapidly during that time.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got a lot of really good young kids coming back, from this year's freshmen and JV. And then, like I said, really good middle school kids all the way down. Felix runs our youth program, and he does such a great job. We have kids playing all the way down to 2nd and 3rd grade.
That's great. Well, we've kind of run through this first segment here. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back, and we'll talk a little bit about the upcoming sectional, especially this Westfield sectional.
When Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage: Logan Street signs and banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
Everyone knows it's easy to find first-run movies in the big theaters. But where can you go to watch your favorite classic movies on the big screen for the perfect night out? Why rent a flick when you can rent the entire theater? Call today to reserve our 32-seat theater for your next event, or just stop by to see what's showing this weekend. The 14 by 7 foot screen and the high quality digital surround sound system offers all the amenities you would expect from the big theaters, with a laid back atmosphere and comfortable seating of your own home. Wofford Theater at 1744 South 10th Street in Noblesville gives you the classic movies you want with a big theater experience.
Good looking for Ethan today.
There
I think
you
we're
go.
back for segment 2. We're back here on Hometown Television's preview of the 40th annual high school girls sectional basketball, and we'll kind of start in Class 1A and work our way up to the big sectional in 4A. We'll start at University, and 5 of the teams in this sectional have winning records, so it looks like it's a pretty open field at University. Looks like starting off, I think Tuesday it'll be Indiana Deaf versus University in the first game. 14-6 Deaf versus University at 12-8. Internationals 15-6 against 4-18 Indianapolis Metro. Tinley was 19-2, so that's a pretty solid year for Indianapolis Tinley. They and Bethesda Christian drew the byes, so they'll each play the winners. Kind of set up like the 4A Sectional 8 at Westfield is, where Fishers and Westfield got the byes.
You know, Craig, that's always that 1A, and a lot of the 1A games are very, very interesting. And so, I mean, a couple of years ago, University came out of that sectional, and I think really had a losing record a couple of years ago when they came out of there, and made a little bit of thunder in the 1A.
Tinley's awfully good. They lead the state in scoring
Yeah,
and average margin of victory. He definitely dominates in the regular season, but University will have a chance.
Yeah, we'll skip up to Class 2A at Sectional 40 at Frankton. And another good one where Tuesday night Sheridan opens up against Monroe Central. Sheridan 12-9 are the Blackhawks this year. 15-6 is Monroe Central's record. And the host school Frankton will host Wapahani, which to me that game could be for the sectional championship, unless you want to count the second game on Friday, which the winner of that game will play LaPel in the second semifinal. LaPel 16-6 drew the second bye. Muncie Burroughs at 3-16 the first bye will play either Sheridan or Monroe Central in the semifinals. So it looks like, I mean, that sectional is pretty much up in the air as well.
Yeah, absolutely, because, like you said, that bottom bracket there is pretty well loaded. Coach, you got any? LaPel has
I got a sophomore that's going to IU. She's pretty good. Saw her play as a freshman. She was at Frankton. They would be scary good if they had her. They got really good guard play, and that'll be wide open. I think, if I remember right, Frankton actually beat LaPel in the regular season. And then I've seen Sheridan. They've got some nice players. They have a really good guard, and guard play anytime you get to sectional is important. So And they got a good draw. They're on the great side of the bracket. Like I said, let all those other people beat each other up, and Sheridan could definitely. They're defending champs. I would not be surprised for them to come out and get that one.
Yeah, then the 3A sectional in Hamilton County at Hamilton Heights, another good one, as that features 19-3 Marion, which they won't play until Wednesday night at 7:30, but features Marion, who's 19-3, 18-4 Heritage Christian, which, I mean, their record's kind of skewed because they have pretty much one of the tougher schedules in the state. Although they have lost, they're 2-2 in their last 4 games. Our Rick Reisinger's Eagles, so it's kind of the bottom part of the bracket that's going to beat each other up, and Yorktown, who drew 1 bye, will play the winner of Delta and Tipton, who opens up play on Tuesday night. And so I'm not sure if you can say that whoever wins that top part of the bracket will have an easy route to the championship against somebody who might be reeling a little bit. But the 2 games Wednesday, Heritage Christian versus Guerin Catholic, and then Hamilton Heights versus Marion, looks to be Heritage Christian versus Marion, and technically the sectional championship in the second semifinal on Friday.
Coach, of course, we played Heights, which we handled them pretty easily earlier in the season. And of course, everyone knows about Heritage Christian, so I would probably favor Heritage Christian in that sectional.
They're heavy. They would be favorites in most 4A sectionals. They're very good. When saying they've lost 2, they lost to us and Carmel, who are both in the top 10 in the state, and they lost those on the road. They're very good. They've got kids that are just some of the best in the country. They're not real deep, but I can't imagine in this sectional that they're not the absolute, by far and away, heavy favorites. I've seen Marion. Heights is playing better. I'll pick Heights in an upset over Marion. They've played a tougher schedule than what Marion has, and I think she's done a great job there and has them playing really well. They've won like 10 out of their last 11. And they've got Westfield tonight. So they'll have a nice preparation. Westfield's going to be better than Marion, and if they can go out and compete tonight, I would not be surprised to see them beat Marion, just to be rewarded with Heritage Christian in the next game. But
we won, so now we get to play Heritage Christian.
But she's done a great job.
Yeah,
there.
she has.
And I'd love to see them get that one, and I do think they have a great chance. But Heritage Christian is just on a different level than most people. In that they probably won't even have a close game until they get to Princeton.
Yeah,
that should be interesting.
I like Princeton. I really do. I think that they play better as a team, and they've got inside game, and Young's on a different level, and I do like the Harris kid. Don't get me wrong, from Heritage Christian, but I'll go with Princeton in the championship.
Yeah, Jackie Young she's just such a smooth player. The way you wouldn't have thought it by. We didn't get a chance to see the second game in the Hall of Fame Classic when she put up 34 against Lebanon, but she just put 34 up in both games. Just an overall smooth player, and she knows how to get her points, and it's no wonder she's the all-time league scorer at boys and girls in the state of Indiana now.
Yeah, she's phenomenal, and what's amazing, she had all those points in the Lebanon game, and she didn't even play hardly in the second quarter. She had that knee injury, so she's pretty phenomenal. And like I said, it's a great kid. It's cool that she's able to be the all-time leading scorer. And really cool, I don't know if you saw this, but Pike Central allowed them to move the game to Princeton so she could get that on her home floor. It was a packed gym, and they gave up their home game to. I think that speaks volumes for her and the kind of kid she is. Right. That a team would say, you know what, let's let her get this at home, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think, Coach? She's probably the best player in the state of Indiana this year.
She's a no-brainer, Miss Basketball. It won't even be close. She's just on a different level, and being a Notre Dame fan, I'm excited that she chose them. She'll have a big career there, I think.
Sounds good. We've run out of time in the second segment. Once again, we'll come back in the third segment, and we'll dig deep into this Class 4A Sectional 8 at Westfield and kind of dissect each matchup. Coming back in just a few minutes right here on Hometown Television.
When Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here. We had only one choice in signage: Logan Street signs and banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
Everyone knows it's easy to find first-run movies in the big theaters. But where can you go to watch your favorite classic movies on the big screen for the perfect night out? Why rent a flick when you can rent the entire theater? Call today to reserve our 32-seat theater for your next event, or just stop by to see what's showing this weekend. The 14 by 7 foot screen and the high quality digital surround sound system offers all the amenities you would expect from the big theaters, with a laid back atmosphere and comfortable seating of your own home. Wofford Theater at 1744 South 10th Street in Noblesville gives you the classic movies you want with a big theater experience.
And we're back here on the girls basketball sectional preview, the 40th annual IHSAA girls basketball state tournament. And we couldn't be more excited to be broadcasting that next week. We'll be live for all 5 games at Westfield High School. Class 4A Sectional 8. Game 1 on Tuesday night at 6 p.m. It's going to be the Carmel Greyhounds versus the Hamilton Southeastern Royals. Carmel still has one regular season game to play left. And Game 2 will be the Anderson Indians versus Donna's Noblesville Millers around 7:30. Fishers drew the first bye, and they'll play the winner of the Carmel and Hamilton Southeastern game winner. That'll be the first game on Friday at 6. And then Westfield will play the winner of Noblesville and Anderson. And since we don't think anybody from Anderson's watching, Noblesville will play Westfield on Friday. At around 7:30 for the second semifinal. Championship will be Saturday at 7:30 p.m. And all those games will be broadcast live on HCTVYouTube.com and HGTV1.com. And Perry and I will have the call live for you. Diving into that first game, Carmel and Southeastern, and we were talking off the air about Hamilton Southeastern and who may or may not be on the hardwood. You know, because obviously Bree Lloyd seems to be their heart and soul, their player that runs and, make sure that, the blood's flowing for the Royals. Will they have, I guess, a floor general out there? Do we know?
If they have Bree, then they'll be in better shape. Without Bree, that's going to be a really, really hard game for them. I mean, they're just too young. They get a bunch of freshmen and sophomores in there that can make that tough. But Bree's a lefty. She's hard to guard. She's pretty talented. I watched that first game that they played in the regular season, and it was kind of ugly, but I have no doubt Hupp will have something up his sleeve. And like I said, he'll come out in something and give it a different look, and they'll compete. And
talk about your game against Anderson. You faced them earlier in the season, and it wasn't as far spread apart as it could have been because Anderson's kind of like a Pendleton Heights where they keep fighting, they're scrappy.
They are. They have a point guard that handles the ball really well. Physically, you're just kind of looking at them, and they don't really look like much. But they come out and they play hard. They've got a good big kid. And, gosh, if you put that big kid on Pendleton team, that'd be a really scared team. Like I said, they don't shoot it real well. But they do have, like I said, a really good post player and a kid that handles the ball well. Like I said, they're going to scrap and fight. They played a lot of zone last time. So we'll have to make some shots, and hopefully Rachel didn't drain all of her threes the other night. Hopefully we can come out and shoot it and get the ball inside as well and let our big kids hopefully dominate in the paint.
The one thing about it is, Coach, that I think that it's really improved all season long. Of course, we knew that Brooke Heron had an adjustment coming in this year with losing her sister and Becca Bergman and Corey Kane. So, she played quite a bit last year, but she's had to step up into a different role this season and make sure that she's getting a lot better on her passing ability. And also, usually if the other team's got a good guard, Brooke's on them. No matter what size they are, she gets in there and she'll push them around.
She is, as we said off there, she's a mean kid, but a mean kid in a great way. She's a kid everybody would love to have on their team. And like I said, she's your point guard, but you put her on the best player, and she's going to guard him. She's never going to complain. She's strong. And like I said, she is just a feisty kid that'll take any challenge given to her. Absolutely love her to death. And she's come a long way this year. You watch the first half of the season and where she was and where she is now, and it's a different, whole different player. And we definitely go, she goes. We have all those, the superstars. Everybody talks about the big three, but really what we do is based on what Brooke does. And like I said, she is a very key player for us. And like I said, keeping her on the floor. Although last night, we were able to play for a long stretch without her and survive it. But we don't want to do that next week. And like I said, though, she'll be ready for the challenge. She's played really well for us down the stretch.
Yeah, and one of the great things about this group is it's like you said, and come tournament time, most everybody knows, like with our big three, everybody knows what they can do, okay? But the Brooke Herons, the Rachel Shipmans, the Sam Salmons, those type of people that the Haley Conway, those people that step up and give you that little extra boost makes a difference tremendously in a ball game. And the same way with, the shot that Knight hit in Heritage Christian. There was probably no one in the gym that thought she would take that 3-point shot from the corner.
Their coach didn't. He said, don't worry about her. He kept yelling, don't worry about 11. He didn't know her name. He wasn't bothering her. He just, whatever, don't worry about that kid.
Yeah.
So, you have to, if you're going to win games, big games especially, it's usually those other kids stepping up. Somebody, whether it's like on Saturday night, Rachel hit 7 threes, and you know what your big kids are going to do. It's what the other kids are going to step in and do, and whether that's Brooke just making a great pass to somebody or defending. Again, Haley coming in, Rachel, any of those kids, you got to have kids step up and make plays. And like I said, for the most part this year, those kids have done that, and we've had success as a result.
And not to jump the gun, but obviously playing in last year's and making it to the Elite Eight. Taking a look at the other 3 sectionals that feed into the Kokomo Regional. And I saw John Harrell's just quirky with how he predicts things. He predicts Fort Wayne Snyder to win the East Noble sectional and get back to Kokomo. And obviously Homestead will be favored in sectional 6 on their home floor. But kind of an odd mix of matchups at McCutcheon, because you got obviously it looks like Lafayette, Jeff, and Logansport kind of bottom of the barrel, combining for 7 wins. But then second game on Tuesday is Zionsville and Kokomo, and Zionsville's got a fair shot to come out of that sectional.
I think Zionsville will win that. The only thing that's holding them back is they're young, and Kokomo's got some older kids. So Kokomo may, if they can, being at Kokomo, I think it's at McCutcheon, or is it Kokomo?
It's at McCutcheon.
Yeah, so, it's one of those things. I would not be surprised. The winner of that game should win it. I will be stunned if anybody else comes out of that sectional, but you never know. Zionsville's the most talented team by far. It could make for an interesting regional. Homestead's obviously very good, but I don't know that they're quite where they were last year, but they're certainly, an awesome basketball program.
Coach, I guess my question is, this is a little bit different situation going into the sectional this year. Is last year everyone knew we had a good team, but we were the chaser. Okay, we were coming after the good teams, the Southeasterns, the Fishers, and the Westfield, and Todd Windland's done a great job at Carmel, but this year it's a little bit different. We're now the hunted, okay, and we've lost to a couple of teams in the sectional. The Carmel game was a pretty good game, but we did get beat. The Westfield game, I don't think any of them got off the bus from the freshman team to the varsity that day. I don't know what happened. I mean, I've never seen them play like that.
It was bad. You know what's really I watched film of that this week, and I swear it felt like we were down by 20 the whole game. But with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter, it was an 8-point game.
Yeah. I
was like, how was that? Because we definitely played just so bad in every aspect of that game. Surely we can't play like that again. That was just a bizarre. Like I said, I literally don't remember as a program. Our freshmen, our JV gave up like 40 in the first half. I've never seen anything like it. It was just a horrible day for our program, and like I said, we definitely. It was a wake up though. Our kids
we
definitely.
bounced back.
We had a nice heart to heart after that and the Carmel game, and they've been a different group. I will say this. Anytime you lose, if you can win or lose, you got to learn from it. What did you do well? What did you not do well? And what do you got to change? And our kids have done that and ask everything, that I challenge them with, that they've gone out and done it. They're phenomenal leadership there, and those kids have definitely stepped up. Like I said, challenging Brooke after the Carmel game, stay out of foul trouble and be a better leader, and she did that. And then, challenging Caitlin and Alexis after the Westfield game, because I didn't think that, and Emily, I didn't think those kids came to play that day. And they've been awesome since. It's been really a different group.
Coach, we'd like to thank you for stopping by and spending time with us on the preview show. And our coverage, I guess, continues before the sectional. We'll have boys action tomorrow night as Southeastern travels to Noblesville. And we'll have that for you around 7:30 on hometown television. But next week, 6 o'clock, Carmel Southeastern at 6, Anderson Noblesville around 7:30. Live coverage for the Class 4A Sectional 8 at Westfield. We'll have that for you right here on hometown television, and as well as the semifinals at 6 and 7:30 on Friday, and then 7:30 championship next Saturday. And Perry, anything else for you?
No, we're gonna hopefully we'll be cutting down the nets next Saturday.
I hope so. Absolutely, that's the plan.
Sounds good for Perry Williams and Noblesville head coach Donna Keck. We appreciate her coming by to hang out with us for a little bit. I'm Craig Atkins, and we'll see you next time on hometown television.